Embracing discomfort is essential for personal and professional growth. It's easy to stay in a place of familiarity, where you feel safe, where routines are predictable and challenges are minimal. But real growth, the kind that transforms you and pushes you to achieve things you never thought possible, doesn't happen in that zone of comfort. It happens when you step into discomfort, when you willingly put yourself in situations that stretch your abilities, challenge your mindset, and test your resilience. When you're uncomfortable, you're forced to adapt. You're forced to find new solutions, develop new skills, and think in ways that break old patterns. It's in those moments of discomfort that you truly discover what you're made of. Whether it's taking on a task that feels beyond your current abilities, facing difficult conversations, or pursuing a goal that seems out of reach, the struggle itself becomes a catalyst for growth. It's in the moments of doubt, frustration, and challenge where you refine your character and strengthen your resolve. The key is to stop avoiding discomfort and start seeing it as an opportunity. Instead of shying away from what feels hard or intimidating, you need to lean into it. Growth doesn't come from avoiding failure, it comes from pushing through the hard parts, stumbling, learning, and pushing forward again. Every uncomfortable experience, no matter how small or large, is a chance to learn something new about yourself and expand your capabilities. It's important to recognize that discomfort is not something to be feared or resisted, but something to be embraced as part of the process. People who achieve great things, whether athletes, entrepreneurs, or leaders, don't get there by staying in their comfort zones. They consistently push the boundaries of what feels comfortable, knowing that growth and success come at the price of facing discomfort head-on. This doesn't mean you should seek discomfort for its own sake, but rather that you should view it as a necessary part of your journey. When you hit a point where things feel tough, uncertain, or overwhelming, remind yourself that you're in the process of growth. The discomfort you feel is a sign that you're moving forward, that you're pushing yourself beyond the status quo. It's proof that you're doing the hard work necessary to become better, stronger, and more capable. Ultimately, the more you expose yourself to discomfort, the more comfortable you become with it. Over time, what once seemed impossible becomes manageable, and what once seemed overwhelming becomes routine. You build resilience, sharpen your skills, and cultivate a mindset that welcomes challenge. Growth isn't a one-time event, it's a continuous journey of stepping into the unknown and embracing the discomfort that comes with it. The more you do it, the more you grow, and the greater your capacity becomes to take on even bigger challenges in the future. Failure is often seen as something to avoid, a sign that you're not good enough or that your efforts were wasted. But in reality, failure is one of the most valuable experiences you can have. It's a necessary and inevitable part of the path to success. Every successful person has encountered failure at some point in their journey, and often it's these failures that have shaped them into who they are. Failure isn't the end, it's the beginning of something new. It's the blueprint that outlines the steps you need to take to eventually achieve success. When you fail, you are given a direct and clear message about what doesn't work. While success can sometimes make us complacent or blind to potential improvements, failure forces us to pay attention. It pushes us to analyze what went wrong, to break down the process, and to figure out why the desired outcome wasn't reached. This self-reflection is invaluable because it leads to growth. You begin to understand your weaknesses, the flaws in your strategy, and the areas that need development. Without failure, you would continue repeating the same mistakes, but with failure, you gain the wisdom and insights to do things differently next time. Failure also teaches resilience. When things don't go as planned and you're faced with disappointment, frustration, or even embarrassment, it's tempting to give up. But if you push through, if you keep going despite the setbacks, you become stronger. You build the mental toughness necessary to endure future challenges. You learn that failure is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. It's through failure that you develop the grit to persevere in the face of adversity, and this grit is often the deciding factor between those who succeed and those who don't. Each time you fail, you're refining your approach. You're getting closer to figuring out what works. Think of failure as a learning process. Every time you fall short, you have the opportunity to make adjustments, to innovate, and to try again with more knowledge and experience. The people who achieve the most success in life are often those who have failed the most. They understand that each failure is just a stepping stone toward the ultimate goal. They don't view it as a setback, but as part of the process. Failure is the necessary friction that sharpens your skills and shapes your future success. Failure also brings with it an important sense of humility. It reminds you that you don't have all the answers, that there's always room for growth, and that nothing worth having comes easily. This humility is crucial because it keeps you grounded and open to learning from others. When you're willing to acknowledge your mistakes, you become more receptive to feedback and advice, which in turn accelerates your learning. Failure strips away ego and forces you to confront the reality of the situation, allowing you to grow not just professionally but personally as well. It's also important to note that failure doesn't define you. Many people fear failure because they believe it reflects poorly on their abilities or character. But the truth is, failure is not a reflection of who you are, but rather a reflection of an attempt that didn't work out. The most successful individuals recognize that failure is temporary and doesn't diminish their potential or worth. They don't let it stop them. Instead, they use it as fuel to try again, to be better, and to ultimately achieve their goals. The fear of failure can paralyze you, preventing you from taking risks or pursuing your dreams. But if you change your perspective and start viewing failure as part of the journey, it loses its power over you. When you accept that failure is inevitable on the road to success, you free yourself to take bolder actions, to experiment, and to push the boundaries of what's possible. You understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but a crucial part of achieving it. In the end, every failure is an opportunity. It's a chance to learn, to grow, and to evolve. The more you fail, the more you learn, and the more you learn, the closer you get to success. Failure provides the blueprint for what you need to do differently, for the adjustments you need to make, and for the persistence you need to cultivate. It's a map that, if followed with resilience and determination, leads directly to success. Without failure, success would have no meaning, no depth, and no lasting value. Failure, in all its forms, is not a roadblock, but a guidepost pointing the way to something greater. In life, many things are beyond our control. External factors, whether they be circumstances, the behavior of others, or random events, are often unpredictable and can disrupt even the most carefully laid plans. The more energy we waste worrying about these uncontrollable elements, the more we drain ourselves of the focus and strength needed to address what we actually can control. Learning to control the controllables is about directing your energy, time, and attention toward the things you can influence and letting go of what is outside your power. This mindset shift is incredibly liberating. It's common to get caught up in the what-ifs of life, to obsess over outcomes that depend on factors you cannot predict or manage. You may stress over other people's opinions, the market's behavior, or situations that feel unjust or unfair. But the truth is, no amount of worrying or frustration will change those things. What you can change, however, is how you respond to them. By focusing on what is within your reach, you regain a sense of agency over your life. When you concentrate on controlling the controllables, you focus on your own actions, attitudes, and decisions. These are the things that truly determine the trajectory of your life. You can't control whether someone likes you, but you can control how you treat others and how you carry yourself. You can't control the economy, but you can control how you manage your finances, the skills you develop, and the work ethic you bring to your job. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you prepare for it. Shifting your focus to these areas empowers you to take meaningful action, even in the face of uncertainty. The first step in this process is recognizing the difference between what is within your control and what isn't. This clarity helps to avoid wasting energy on things that won't change no matter how much you think about them. For example, you may find yourself obsessing over a missed opportunity or a mistake made in the past. No amount of rumination will alter those events, but you can control how you learn from them, what lessons you take forward, and how you adjust your behavior in the future. In the same way, you might feel anxious about an upcoming challenge, but your anxiety won't change the outcome. What will influence the outcome is how you prepare for that challenge, how much effort and focus you put into being ready. When you focus on what you can control, you create a sense of calm in the midst of chaos. Life is often unpredictable, and unexpected events can throw you off balance. But when you root yourself in the things you can control, you develop a steady center that keeps you grounded no matter what is happening around you. This approach also reduces stress because you're no longer burdened by the impossible task of trying to manage things outside your control. Instead, you channel your energy into productive areas where you can make a real difference. In your personal life, relationships, or career, this approach can be transformative. Instead of worrying about how others will react, you focus on your intentions and actions. Instead of being paralyzed by fear of failure, you focus on the effort and preparation you can put in to avoid it. It shifts your mindset from being reactive, responding to things as they happen, to being proactive, taking charge of the elements that are truly yours to manage. By controlling the controllables, you transform how you navigate the world. You begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth because you know that your response to them is within your power. You stop feeling overwhelmed by the uncontrollable, and instead you become strategic and intentional about how you move forward. You can't dictate every outcome, but you can dictate your effort, your preparation, your attitude, and your resilience. These are the building blocks of success, and they are always within your control. When you take ownership, you also build resilience. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way. Setbacks, disappointments, and failures are part of the journey. But when you take responsibility for your outcomes, you develop the mindset that you can handle whatever comes your way. You stop being derailed by obstacles because you know that you have the power to keep going, to find solutions, and to make the best of any situation. Ownership fosters a deep sense of confidence because you realize that you are capable of steering your life in the direction you want. Another important aspect of ownership is honesty with yourself. It requires you to take a hard look at your habits, behaviors, and attitudes, and to acknowledge where you might be falling short. It's not always easy to admit that you could have worked harder, communicated better, or handled a situation with more maturity, but that self-awareness is essential for growth. When you take ownership, you're not afraid to confront your own weaknesses because you understand that they are areas for improvement, not permanent limitations. Commitment, on the other hand, is a decision. It's the promise you make to yourself that you will keep showing up and doing the work, no matter how you feel. It's the deeper level of dedication that pushes you to keep moving forward, even on the hardest days. While motivation is the spark that can get you started, commitment is the fuel that keeps the fire burning long after that initial spark has dimmed. It's about making a choice to persist through the ups and downs, the challenges, and the moments when the path ahead feels impossible. One of the biggest misconceptions is that successful people are constantly motivated, that they somehow possess an endless supply of energy and drive. In reality, even the most successful individuals experience days when they don't feel like doing the work. They too face doubt, boredom, and fatigue. The difference is that they've built their success on a foundation of commitment, not on waiting for motivation to show up. They've learned that progress doesn't happen only when they feel inspired. It happens because they have committed to a process, regardless of how they feel on any given day. In this way, commitment builds character. It teaches you patience, perseverance, and the ability to delay gratification. These qualities are essential for long-term success because most meaningful goals take time and sustained effort to achieve. Whether you're working on building a business, improving your health, mastering a skill, or developing a relationship, the results don't come overnight. Commitment allows you to stay the course during the slow, unglamorous process of progress, the times when it feels like nothing is happening, even though you're putting in the work. It's in those moments when motivation is absent that commitment shines the brightest. Commitment, unlike motivation, is a long-term strategy. It's about building a mindset that carries you through the inevitable difficulties and setbacks that come with pursuing any worthwhile goal. While motivation might give you a temporary burst of enthusiasm, commitment sustains you over the long haul. It keeps you grounded in your purpose, focused on your priorities, and dedicated to the process, even when things don't go as planned. In the end, commitment is what separates those who succeed from those who fall short. It's easy to be motivated when everything is going well, but it's much harder to stay committed when things get tough. Those who succeed are not the ones who are always motivated, they are the ones who refuse to give up. They understand that commitment, not motivation, is the true key to achieving their dreams. No one owes you success, recognition, or rewards. Success is earned through effort, perseverance, and resilience. You may work hard and still face obstacles, but that doesn't mean the world owes you a shortcut or an easy path. Just because you've put in effort doesn't automatically guarantee you the outcome you desire. Life doesn't work on a fairness scale where effort is always proportionally rewarded. There will be times when you work harder than others and still don't achieve the same level of success, but that's part of the journey. What you learn along the way about discipline, persistence, and growth is often more valuable than the reward itself. This mindset shift, moving from entitlement to self-reliance, helps you reclaim your own power. When you stop expecting others to give you what you want or feeling that the world owes you something, you start to realize that you are responsible for creating your own opportunities. This is empowering because it means you are no longer waiting for someone else to make things happen for you. Instead, you take control of your own destiny. You become proactive in seeking out what you need, in finding solutions to problems, and in taking ownership of your future. This sense of responsibility fuels a greater sense of purpose and drive. This mindset also applies to personal struggles. Life is filled with challenges, difficulties, and hardships, and while it's natural to feel frustrated by these obstacles, it's important to remember that no one owes you a smooth ride. There is no universal guarantee that life will be fair or easy. In fact, life often throws unexpected curveballs your way, and how you respond to them defines your growth and resilience. The world isn't responsible for compensating you for your hardships, and people around you aren't obligated to fix your problems. When you stop expecting things to be handed to you, you develop the strength and independence necessary to tackle life's challenges on your own terms. Embracing this truth also fosters gratitude. When you stop assuming that people owe you something, you begin to appreciate what others give freely, whether it's their time, support, or kindness. You become more aware of the value in the things people do for you, and you start to recognize that these acts are gifts, not obligations. Gratitude flourishes when entitlement fades. When you approach life with the understanding that nothing is owed to you, everything becomes a blessing, and you're more likely to appreciate the good things as they come. Furthermore, this mindset encourages humility. When you realize that no one owes you anything, you stop feeling superior or deserving of special treatment. You understand that everyone is working through their own struggles and that no one is obligated to cater to your needs or desires. This humility fosters empathy as you start to see the world through the lens of personal responsibility rather than entitlement. It helps you build stronger, more respectful relationships because you no longer expect others to prioritize your needs over their own. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to let your time slip away without realizing it. We live in an age of constant notifications, endless entertainment, and limitless social media scrolling. These distractions, though seemingly small, can add up quickly, eating away at hours of your day without offering any real value. If you're not careful, you can lose significant amounts of time to activities that don't contribute to your growth, productivity, or happiness. Being ruthless with your time means taking a hard look at how you're spending each minute and cutting out anything that isn't helping you move forward. It means understanding that every moment you waste is a moment you'll never get back, and that your time should be treated with the utmost care. It's also important to recognize that being ruthless with your time is not just about cutting out distractions and optimizing your work, it's about making space for the things that truly matter. This means prioritizing time for family, relationships, health, and personal development. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle of work and productivity, but if you neglect the things that bring you joy and fulfillment, you'll end up burnt out and unhappy. Being ruthless with your time means recognizing that rest and self-care are not luxuries, they are essential. By scheduling time for yourself and for the people you care about, you ensure that your life remains balanced and meaningful. Being ruthless with your time also involves periodically reviewing how you're spending it. It's easy to fall into routines and habits that no longer serve you. By regularly assessing how you're using your time, you can identify areas where you're wasting it and make adjustments. This could mean cutting out unnecessary tasks, delegating more, or streamlining processes. Time management is not a one-time fix, it's an ongoing process of refinement. The more you audit your time, the more you'll be able to see where you're slipping and correct course. In the end, being ruthless with your time is not just about getting more done, it's about living a life of purpose. It's about ensuring that the time you have is spent on the things that truly matter, the things that truly matter, the things that bring you closer to your goals and to the person you want to become. It's about cutting out the noise and distractions and focusing on what will make a real difference in your life. When you stay ruthless with your time, you take control of your life and your future, and that is one of the most empowering things you can do.